The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Hey! A triple feature, 3 films up on the screen. One's a little heavy, one's a little sleek, and one's just caught between. We'll laugh and cry and overanalyze, dig through fleams with wide, wild eyes. Grab some popcorn, take your seat. 3 times the fun, 3 times the treat. Hey, a triple feature. That's what we're here to do. What we're here to do. Buckle up, the lights go down, and we'll watch them all with you.
Good evening. You are listening to a Radulich Broadcasting premiere podcast, Triple Feature. I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And boy, do we have a treat tonight. I'm going to get right to it and do away with my usual nonsense. We are back with Kat, currently going by her character name of Tabitha Smalley. Hi, Kat. And of course, Sean's here. You're not. Hello, Sean. How are you?
I am fueled tonight by caffeine, THC, just a dab of alcohol, and exhaustion. This is as close as I am ever getting to the old days being back.
And obviously spite.
Kat,
Not so much spite tonight. A little bit, but
Kat, why don't you tell us who these new people are who are joining us and why they're here tonight?
Okay. So the person on our left is Mike Trupiano. He is a producer. He is also Edgar in Christmas Chaos. He edited it. He did the music. He did the animation. What else did you do, Mike?
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Pretty much. And that tall drink of water to our right is Nick Howard. That is my best friend, baby daddy, love of my life. He's Ron Blant.
Well, it's great to have you all here. You're here because tonight we're at Kat's request. We're reviewing Christmas Chaos. This is the unauthorized biography of how StabaClaus came to be, or something along those lines. And then along with that, keeping with Troma, we're looking at Tromeo and Juliet and Frankenhooker.
6.
So I wanted to talk to you guys for a minute. How did Christmas Chaos come to be? What was the impetus of this project? How did you guys decide to do a mockumentary about a fake slasher series?
Me and Mike have been working on projects since we were 20, and in the 5 years since, we've learned quite a bit. Oh shit, the movie's only been 5 years. Okay, I can't even stick with that bit.
Started making it in 2018.
Yeah, Kat was pregnant, and we spent a winter week watching dumb horror documentaries. And at some point, I turned to her and I went, "Somebody should make a movie like this. Like, this is, as a concept, is really funny because you could do all sorts of stuff." And then I pitched it to Mike, and he said, "I don't want to do that. That sounds dumb."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, listen, the shoot would be so easy because you would just need one person at a time. I feel like organizing a low budget film, that's by far the most difficult part. So by and large, you can get most of your movie with one person at a time, which was absolutely my selling point to him. You could practically and realistically make a feature film for no money. And so that's what we did.
what was the one that was secretly shot at Disney World on iPhones with WordPad docs for scripts or something like that?
I think I read about
What was
that.
the name of it? I saw it. It was weird, and I hesitate to call it good, but I remember just being impressed that they pulled it off.
Let me ask you, just because you're doing a mockumentary of documentaries, I know like one of the more famous ones dealing with horror is the Netflix series on the Nightmare on Elm Street. Had you guys seen that at all? Did it inspire you in any way?
Oh, are you talking about Never Sleep Again?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fantastic doc. I love
It's
that.
great. It's 4 hours long. Those same people did one on the Friday the 13th franchise.
Crystal Lake Memories.
Hours long because there's so damn many Friday the 13th movies, and
they are worth every second.
Watching those, and I'm like, this is the next project.
Never Sleep Again is. I can't believe how comprehensive it is. It's almost 4 hours long, but like, you want every minute of that almost 4 hours. And things like 366 or something.
What other documentaries inspired the way you guys went about this? You know, in terms of like putting the script together, deciding on like what kind of shot you want to do, what exactly you were sending up in terms of horror tropes. What else inspired you?
So that was when I first started writing. Me and Mike sat down and we talked about the horror tropes we wanted to see. We're currently working on kind of a semi-sequel because there were so many good ones we couldn't fit in. So we're going to have a monster who goes to space in the next one. And there's going to be a lot going on in it. But there were some things we definitely wanted to do. I know I wanted the third one to be the best one. Like the only one that actually, would be watchable to somebody who's not a big horror fan. I feel like that's a strangely familiar one for some reason. I feel like a lot of the 80s franchises were that way. I knew I wanted the first one to be nasty and more shock than actually good. But, like visiting a city, he goes to Baltimore at one point. I know, has anybody ever seen Puppet Master 8?
I have not, no.
No.
It's a clip show. It's a clip show.
Oh, is it really? That's
they
great.
wanted to like, hey, we're going to make a 9, and we know you're not going to go back and watch those first 7. So you can start at part 8, and it's going to tell you everything that happened in those first 7 movies. And it's bad. It's real bad.
I'm old now. Were you the one that showed me Puppet Master 8?
Who? Me?
You, yeah.
Have you seen Puppet Master 8?
Yeah.
Then yes.
Okay.
Sticking with that for a moment.
It's been 11 years. We've seen a lot of movies together.
So obviously Kat's in it. She introduced you as her friend. I'm curious, was this like a Kevin Smith thing where you pretty much just, like a lot of independent movies, people's beginning films, you just kind of gather up your friends and pay them in chicken wings and beer.
Yeah.
Tell me about the casting process and like who you got for it, who these people were to you.
We got our friends, basically.
Kat got her character because at our first read through, she just called the character, and I thought she was good. That worked.
Yeah.
And I got my character because he forced me to do it, and he said, I wrote this part for you, and I think you should do it. And I said, I feel like if I'm going to be involved with this movie, you're going to force me to edit the whole thing, and I don't want to both be a character in the movie and edit the movie. I can do one or the other, and then I ended up doing both. So.
Oh, you're so modest. You did. Oh my God.
Why
so
much. I couldn't have done it without him. It's very much a team effort.
Your character's hilarious in this. And it leads me to my next question. So you kind of threaded a plot through this. Like there's some bit of narrative thread through most documentaries, but it's pretty much a recollection of events from A to Z that that tells you the story of whatever thing they're talking about. You guys actually put an actual plot in this to where this poor director, poor Nico, just held hostage by this production company. What gives? You have to explain that to me.
So if you've ever seen, there's kind of two things there. If you've ever seen Never Sleep Again, which we talked about, if you watch Wes Craven, as the story goes on, it starts out with Wes Craven on top. He's making this movie. It's his big opportunity. Bob Shea wants him to change it. He won't. He's a man of integrity. So Bob Shea just shoots a new ending. Tacks it on to the end of Nightmare on Elm Street without even telling him he's done it. He finds out at the premiere.
Ugh.
And then That sucks, but at least I guess we're working on a sequel now. What's up with the sequel? And Bob Jay says, "Oh, we don't have anything in the works. We'll call you." And then he gets to read about it in the newspapers that part 2 is in production right now. It's been written. They've got a director. He's just not involved. They asked him back for part 3. Part 2 didn't do as well. We want you to come back, and then they didn't go with him. They completely hosed him again and went with Frank Darabont.
Mm-hmm.
You could just kind of see the light die in Wes Craven's eyes over the course of this documentary. It's
You
interesting.
really can.
Mike used to work for a car rental company we probably shouldn't name, but it's a Starship, and he used to tell me customer service stories, and I would see that just
tenderized.
it was like having somebody tell you about Nom, because the people
Yes.
frequently would
The Starship Avis.
would go distant, and he'd, and I'd like I wanted to do Wes Craven with that dead stare, that Jesus Christ, he's seen the horrors of humanity. It has killed him. He's still walking, but he is dead. And I think
tell you, like
the people who I've shown it to, the people who have seen it and talked to me about it, his performance is one of the funniest things in the movie because he just nails it so hard.
he's so deadpan. One of the most delightful things is being behind the camera and watching Mike just go completely like shark-eyed dead.
Mm-hmm.
And you would see his like posture drop and just look more and more put upon. It's a beautiful performance. It's my favorite in the movie.
My favorite things too is how Edgar's character kind of progresses over the course of the movie, because he's the first character you see and he's pretty put together. He's dressed nice. He's articulate. And then you see him in that last shot and he's just
what a long, strange trip we've been on. So self-financed, you ended up on Troma. That's where I saw Troma now. That's where Kat directed me to. So I did my thing for long enough to be able to see this movie.
I plug it every single time.
Yes, you do. Was this Troma financed or was self-financed and then you sold it to that particular streamer? How did you manage this?
I think if you've seen the movie, you can tell it was produced on a budget of $8.50.
I wasn't going to say anything. I wanted you to say it.
We literally shot this on cell phones. Like this was absolutely 10,000% a passion project. We've been working on this, but we didn't have. I think the concept itself lent itself to like, let's get our friends together, let's make a movie because it's supposed to look cheap. It works in universe as well because it's a cheap documentary about cheap horror movies. If it looks cheap, I don't feel like it's gonna knock it that bad, especially if the jokes are there and the performances are there. I feel like it's not an impressive looking movie, but it makes me laugh. There are parts of it that even now I've seen it 10,000 times during the editing process, and there's still little things that got added in late or I'm not expecting that catch me, and I laugh at the censored cartoon every time.
How did you get it onto the Troma service? Is what I was asking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cheated.
What?
Yeah, I cheated. I was the monster for Uncle Lloydie for a weekend when he was in Missouri. So he did 2 shows at the 2 different Alamo draft houses they have. And I reached out because I'm a Toxic Avenger impersonator. I have the costume. I put it together. It's, I think, pretty goddamn good.
It's beautiful.
And the pictures got to Lloyd, who then reached out to me, and he's like, hey, if you want to be the monster on Friday night, I'm going to need you. Can you come to Springfield and do another show on Saturday? And fucking dude, whatever you ask me to do, I'm going to do it. I would never say no to any request he had.
I love it.
When he saw the pictures, he messaged me. He goes, are you like a college student? Or I'm like, no, I'm an old ass man. I'm a dad, but I'm somebody who respects his Uncle Lloydie because when I was young, I read his make your own damn movie books and I made my own damn movie. And he goes, oh, I'd love to see it. So I got him a copy. And then he is absolutely the Willy Wonka fucking, He's the
Willy Wonka of weirdos.
He's Father Christmas. He's everything you want him to be in real life. And he texted me a week later. He goes, hey, I watched your movie. It was terrific. How would you feel about putting it out through Troma?
Aw.
Who says no to that?
Yeah, so I'm a old school long term Troma acolyte, and that was just everything I ever wanted to hear in life. You know.
What were you gonna say, Kat?
Oh, I was gonna co-sign on Nick. Like Nick wrangled me, I guess a monster handler job because he's basically almost blind in the costume.
That's
And I
true.
was Sarah, who is supposed to be blind. The irony's not lost on anybody, by the way.
Seeing I'm a blind person.
Yeah. So, I was the one to like get him into position and keep him from falling down. I failed once.
Bring the old man down some stairs.
Yeah, well, and I got to meet Lloyd, and the first time I saw him, I'm like, "Hi, Mr. Kaufman." He goes, "No, I'm Uncle Lloyd," and he just gives me like
Aw.
the biggest hug, and like I got to talk to everybody's granddad. He is just like Nick said. He is the genuine article. He is one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. At the end of the weekend, he also gave us like a bunch of merch because I kept asking, "Hey, how much is that?" He goes, "Just take it." So that's how we got the Toxic Avenger poster. That's how both Nick and I and Mike have I Love the Monster Hero shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the weekend, because he also wanted us to follow him to Springfield too, he gave us both like the biggest hug, and he goes, the commish, his wife, would have loved you guys. I wish that she was here this weekend to meet you.
That's
Just
cool.
the nicest person.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump into reviewing the actual movie now. Did you guys want to hang around, or was there anything else you wanted to share with us before we move on?
I'd like to hear opinions.
All right, yeah. But
Okay, cool. Let me jump out here first. First, thank you for being on the show, by the way. The last time, and I swear to God, I only talk to B movie directors, but the last time I did an interview was for the guy who did the not Zombievers, but he was another one of the B movie directors, and it was like crazy animals attacking people in the zoo. And then that was I have to pull his name.
Zombies?
Zombies. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got him.
God,
on
I've
the
not
show.
thought about that one in a minute.
So this has been a fun thing for me to be able to talk to B movie directors, but that's the last time I got to do one of these. So it's rare we talk to filmmakers. Is my point. This was fun to watch. I didn't know what this was. Kat texted me and she was like, "Hey, I really want to talk about Christmas Chaos," and I'm like, "Okay, it's on Troma now." And and really all I heard was Troma. So I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll throw it on a triple feature along with 2 other Troma films that I would like to talk about, and we'll do a thing." And then I didn't think about it again. And then I'm like, "Where do I find this?" And she goes, "Troma now." And I looked at it, and that's when I realized what it was, what you guys were doing. And as I'm watching this thing, it is a charming film. It absolutely screams like we've watched a lot of horror movies, and we are lovingly making fun of them throughout this entire thing. It comes across as DIY and as indie as you guys are making it out to be, but you could convince me that it was done purposely so. Like, it seems like a very professional, slick, well put together film that was made to look like it was shot on cell phones in a weekend. So good job there. I laughed in places. Again, my favorite part is you, sir. You as the director, who over the course of the thing seemed like you're going to go, that you are one an indentured servant, and 2, going slightly mad by the end. That was funny. That was fun stuff. That was one of my big takeaways. Sean, what did you think of Christmas Chaos?
So, hi, if it's your first time here, I'm Sean. I brain fart a lot. Mark periodically lights a match to clear the air. And Kat tries to speed run how long into the podcast it takes before my train of thought go choo-choo. But as far as the movie goes, it was on the nose in terms of how kind of tongue-in-cheek referential it was to the horror genre and its tropes, but it was in the best way. not in the way that it was necessarily pretending that the other famous franchises didn't exist, but it's more so like the slightly more intriguing angle that it's almost kind of like the genres it's lampooning are, I think it's Hamlet, and this movie would be Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. It's the movie itself is kind of, and the whole kind of history of this fake franchise is kind of like something that's having these epic madcap debaucherous adventures in the shadows of these grander stories and these seminal franchises, and it's going through all the same tropes and growing pains that the big boys are. It's just going through them so much more adorably clumsily.
I can see that.
It's, and can you go through and can you kind of pick out exactly what it's trying to make fun of? Yes, the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 jab was obvious, but it was also funny as fuck. If it works, it works. And anymore, you know, I'm old enough that I remember when cell phones first started getting cameras, and I remember a lot of photographers and videographers would never miss an opportunity to thumb their nose at people who shot everything on their phone cameras. But we've come such a long way in terms of kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Packaging high-powered technology to the point where you almost can't consider that an insult anymore. When you're, I alluded to it kind of in the lead up, and that's the fact that somebody knew they were not going to get permission from Disney to shoot a weird, dark, psychological horror movie inside the park. So they took a gamble on just shooting the entire thing on iPhones. Their scripts were on, like I said, WordPad or Google Docs or something. And yet, it actually didn't look half bad. I mean, it's not going to give anything from Blumhouse a run for its money necessarily.
Oh, I don't know about that. I've seen some shit Blumhouse.
Nowadays,
But,
yeah.
but it still looked serviceable. And
me,
I kind of...
Sean, let me get in with Kat for a second. Kat, there's two questions I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
One, your perspective from working in the film. What was your experience like?
I mean, we shot it during COVID. So just like Nick said, like we were always like shooting one at a time.
Mm-hmm. Were you present for most of the shoots, even if you weren't in the scene?
I was there for probably half of them. What?
Well, we did the talking heads. That's one at a time. We did have the scenes too.
Yeah.
That usually had more people.
Mm-hmm. I was definitely there for the Merry Christmas, I'm a motherfucker scene. Oh Lord! So the guy that gets is my very dysfunctional best friend Wit. Wit he's a complicated character. I love him to death. At the time he was really off the wagon. And our murder Santa, Roy Ward, aka Scott Vigil, had taken an edible that night.
Oh no.
So everybody was real fun to work with. It was a great night.
Sure.
We kept telling him
once you were able to get the cats in the bag, did you want to take it to the river and drown?
Every single time, and over and over. We're like, that's great. Let's try one without that. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, "Ah, my dick!"
Like 30
And then-
takes.
But then, like, we're like, okay, you screamed on my dick while you're being stabbed in the dick. That's fine. We can maybe meet that up. But when you hit the ground, stop screaming on my dick. And he's like, okay. And then he'd like follow his knees and go, oh, my dick. And then he'd fall on the ground and go, oh, my dick. And he'd start crawling forward and go, ah, my dick. And he kept doing it over and over.
You know how Mike keeps
Today, our
mentioning
son knows him as the "Ow, my dick" guy. Sorry.
after
Well,
that
there's
night
nothing
of
wrong with a
shooting,
good running joke.
he goes, you're editing this scene. You figure this out. I'm surprised
You know
at how
what?
well we made it work.
Yeah.
Too.
It actually doesn't look half bad.
No.
You know what though? It occurs to me that it slipped my mind that you made this during COVID.
Most of it, yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
in a
we've been
way,
shooting for like 2 years.
Yeah.
in a way, the way I think about it, knowing that is, I mean, if you want to crystallize the essence of everything that was both great and terribly great about, 80s horror and horror in the 90s, especially direct-to-video horror, it comes down to a lot of the heart and soul of this movie, and that is we worked with what we had in a less than ideal situation with people who were accessible. We got inventive when we had to. Were people on concerning amounts of stimulants and depressants at the time? Well, apparently. Which, if you're going to honor that area, you might as well go method with it.
Exactly.
And the result was something that, does it have major studio polish? Fuck no, it doesn't. But at the same
Does it
time,
need it? No.
it was no, because it was true to a vision that you guys had and were pursuing to the hilt, and you had the freedom because it was independent to do it the way you wanted to, and to do it without someone telling you, no, if you do it that way, no one's gonna see it, so we're not gonna have any interest. Do it this way and just meet us halfway so we can screw you over later on something that we're promising you right now.
So, Kat, what I was asking you was, that's a funny story with the "Ow, my dick" guy. Was the experience of being in the film and kind of watching some of these things as they're being shot, was what you experiencing like some people when they're shooting the film, like I don't know what I'm doing here or what this is going to look like. I don't know what this, how this is going to look in the end, and you're like unsure. Then you see the finished product, you're like, oh my gosh, movie magic. Did you have that kind of an experience where throughout this thing you were like, what are we doing here? And then you saw the finished product. Oh, that makes sense now. What was the transition like for you from like player to viewer?
Oh, certainly. So we shot in a cemetery, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Michael, is saying
The character Michael.
talking to my grave and Turd's grave, and is like, I will avenge you, and then you see our characters in the background in film. I didn't know how that was going to happen. Like, I don't know how that was going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
And I cringe every time I see myself like dancing around. Like, fuck, I wasn't supposed to do that. But I think it works.
With that scene,
I was there when
bugs in the background that I had to try to edit the sounds out of, and it was horrible. And there was another scene we shot that also had really bad sound where we were like right by a major street, and I was like, okay, so we're just gonna have to dub over everybody's lines.
That scene where Turd and Michael have the really bad ADR when they're talking about the bro code with the little red
they drink a beer like they're getting married. Like that scene, the audio that was on that, like have your brother record the audio and send it to you, and then I'll throw it in. And then he sent in the most hilarious audio ever, and I was like, okay, so
what are you doing, Michael?
Or Michael, the guy playing Michael, he has to match this audio. Kevin Dollar has to make it sound just as dumb as this, and it'll be hilarious. And then it was.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of another little scene. I think that actually improved it.
Yeah. So my favorite scene to shoot was definitely kicking StabaClaus down and lighting him on
The fire scene.
Yes.
It's actually the first
Do
time
you
you
want
see
me to
Santa
tell
Claus in
you,
a scene
or
of the
would you-
movie. Is him dying or him dying.
on fire? I'm dead now.
That was one of the favorites because when we shot that, Santa had no dialogue.
Uh-uh.
And when marijuana had recently become legal, I was smoking legal marijuana with a friend of mine, StabaClaus. We were smoking weed in a car, and it was legal. And it was actually legal in Illinois where we were. But we're editing
Is that a trip or
but
what? The first time you get to
give me
do
some
it.
oofs and ahs, because I was showing it on my phone and I had a mic and I'm like, give me some oofs and ahs, just kind of sync it up to you falling down the stairs. We did a couple like that. I'm like, give me one where you think the audience is an idiot and just dumbly narrate exactly what's happening. Tell them you're on fire. Tell them when you die. And then he gave me a take like that. I'm on fire. Oh,
How very Troma of you, given the next 2 films we're going to watch, where there's a lot of
every
that.
fucking time. That is so
Yeah.
funny.
It reminds me of the ADR sheep in Toxic Avenger.
We're gonna wrap this up, and I really do appreciate you guys coming on here. My last question to you, Kat, and I'm gonna finish with you guys, and then we'll move on. Having watched it since, and I don't know if you rewatched it for this podcast or not, but like, did you watch it and kind of give it an independent view? And if you did, what did you think of it? Divorcing yourself from your process of being in it, and clearly it being a personal thing to you, did you give it an independent view?
Oh yeah, I've seen this movie several times between when it was finally edited all together. I got to see myself in theaters on the big screen, as did these two, and I think that was the first time that I got to see it like
With a crowd.
with an objective eye, like just
It's really
as
cool to
an
get to see it.
audience member. And it's really easy to divorce yourself from like that, because who sees themselves on the big screen except for like a select few? But yeah, like judging it on its merit, I think it's a great film.
Okay.
I think it's funny. I think it's irreverent. I think it's a love letter to horror fans. It's a love letter to people who love trash.
Can I say one thing real quick to make sure that I kind of address the filmmakers and our esteemed colleague very genuinely? Something that I say often when I'm kind of talking, especially to a lot of the younger people that I work with about my generation and Kat's and Nick's and Mark's, is that from the tech to the platforms to the cultural acceptance, we did not grow up in an era when we had the kind of robust DIY tools that creatives have now to make the art that speaks to what they would want to watch. Basically to do what Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino do when they make movies, their approach to it. Yeah, there was still independent cinema, but it was still very much a grind. Again, go watch Never Sleep Again and tune into the story of Wes and Bob Shea making, producing, and distributing the first Nightmare on Elm Street. That ever saw theaters at all was a God-given miracle. But having said that, making something like a feature-length film to completion and seeing it distributed, getting it into the hands of someone with a track record, with some cachet to make anything happen, especially in a genre like horror, and to have them approach you and say, we would like to distribute this. And no matter what, to say that you saw something to completion, saw it distributed, and you got to see other people appreciate it and have a reaction to it. That is something that is beautiful, it is rare, and that not everyone who has the gumption to attempt, and those who do, will not always achieve it. And for that, And I am so proud that for once, after 15 years of doing this show with Mark, I get to actually say this to somebody whose movie I watched. The bottom of my heart, congratulations on getting it done, getting it out there, and doing what so few people will ever get to say they did. That is something nobody can ever take away from you. And no matter what any other sack of shit online may decide they have the brass ones to say, that's yours now and forever. And I could not be happier for you and everybody else involved.
Before you guys
Aw, Sean, that's so sweet.
Before you guys head out for the night, I'm curious, since your film's debuted, what's the feedback that you've gotten, like the consensus feedback? What have you heard from people about it?
So it actually, well, I feel like what you tend to get is a lot of, oh, it's good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, it was great.
I like the part
It was
where the
good.
thing happened. It was
Yeah,
good.
it was good.
I,
A lot of it's good. It's great, and that's about all the people really say.
But well,
I liked it.
you'll occasionally. What I love the most is when people point out moments. You know, I loved it when this happened or that happened. Or I had a friend who talked to me about how he liked it, but he felt like it lost momentum at the beginning of the third act. And I kind of agree with him. You know, it did, like as the movies start to suck, I feel like our movie does kind of slow down. You know, it's a meteoric rise and fall, and I feel like it picks up again big at the end. I forgot what the question was. I get them.
Oh,
What was the consensus feedback?
But yeah, I think honest criticism, I think I really appreciate, but more or less, I mean, I would say the best criticism I've got is that we got to watch it in a theater, a packed theater, and we got laughs.
we got to hear laughs consistently throughout it, which is great.
That's what you want.
So,
So the proof is in the pudding. If it gets laughs, it's
And
good.
while I was temporarily locked outside the theater for my character's monologue at the end, so I didn't actually get to see it, I was told that a lot of people were blown away by it.
Mike
So-
is
yeah, for somebody who felt like a hostage through this whole thing, you really did a phenomenal job. That's one consistent note that I have. My last question to you guys, and then I'll set you free, I promise. And it's funny because this is so I'm a therapist by profession, and sometimes to keep a session going, I have these prompts. One of the prompts is there something you wish people would ask you? And it's funny because I've seen so many people, come on and talk about their films or their projects or whatever. And I always wonder, I was like, is there something they wish the host would have asked them? So I put it to you. There's something you wish I had asked you, or something a burning desire you want to share with people before we go?
Maybe when's the next movie coming out?
Wonderful.
that's a good one.
When's your next movie, fellas?
Our next movie is going to be called Heavy Metal Massacre Discography, and we're working on it right now. We've
shot a good number of the talking heads and a couple of the kills. Our monster is fucking awesome. We've got a really talented musician cranking out original 80s metal songs and ska music. Mike has got a giant ska nubis articulated dog monster.
You guys.
We're going to be tackling a lot of the stuff that we left on the table for the last one. We're going to space.
in the year 2000, no less. Metalhead 2000, he goes into outer space.
We're going to be tackling the Satanic Panic. It's going to be a blast. We're really excited about this one.
There's a gangster rap one.
Yeah, we learned a lot from the last one, and then we decided to ignore it and do the exact same thing. But that's
Awesome. Are you bringing Cat back?
Yeah.
you're-
We just shot 3 weeks ago?
Kat's playing a different character in this one. She's playing an old harpy. She's just the worst.
She's playing a 70-year-old harpy.
Yeah.
Who's your husband right next to her, and they're in an interview together, and they're just arguing back and forth the whole time. And
Are you doing crowdfunding for this? Let's get a link out there.
I
we
think
aren't
we
doing any
should, right?
crowdfunding. We've just been making it all on our own.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to make it. I don't want to be dependent on.
Yeah, I don't want to be dependent on anyone.
Fair. Totally fair. Yeah.
Do you have distribution set up through Troma Now or whatever it's called again, or you're gonna try to get something different this time?
We're gonna try to actually take it to festivals and things and tour it around and try to get it out there on more streaming services than this one.
Maybe
Yeah, I was
two-
gonna say,
Something a bit more slick this
Yeah.
time.
make it a pitch to Netflix. They seem to have money. They'll buy anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
On a serious note, try, I think it's called True False in Colombia. Run by Ragtag Cinema Cafe. Their annual independent film fest.
Oh, okay.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's
We
not a
want
bad
to
idea.
go to as many film festivals as we can afford to go to.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you again for coming on. It's been a real joy to sit and talk to you
absolutely.
for a bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys later.
Have a good night.
Maybe.
Love you.
Okay, let's move on to
Sorry.
Tromeo and Juliet.
Yay, it's my favorite one.
Why is it your favorite
Now my
one?
second favorite one.
Why is it my favorite one?
Yeah, why is it your favorite one?
Oh, there's a variety of reasons that I will get into.
Just go. We're just gonna go straight through.
Sure,
here. No
okay.
fuss, no muss.
So something to know about me, I love Shakespeare. I hate Romeo and Juliet. I do.
That tracks.
Really?
Like these soliloquies are beautiful, don't get me wrong. I like the story, but I hate the premise of it. Because that's not love, that's lust. That is teenage hormones to the max.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. Romeo's 14, sorry. Juliet's 14, Romeo is like 15 or 16, okay? And I don't know who you guys were at that age, but I was an idiot.
Oh, idiot and an unapologetic jackass. Yes.
Oh, yeah. And like, even reading this my freshman year of high school, I'm like, God, this is really bad. I disagree with the basic premise. But of course, like I saw the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet, and it's very beautiful. It's beautifully shot, as is the Franco Zeffirelli one from 1968. Beautifully shot, both of them. I've seen them. I like them. I hate the story. So 11 years ago, when Nick and I first got together, right? Like he's a big fan of Troma, as you know, right? And of course, like we go through like the movies we've seen from them. Have you seen Toxic Avenger? Yes. Have you seen Glass of Nukem High? Of course. Have you seen Tromeo and Juliet? What's that? So of course, he gives me like the whole thing. He goes, look, it's done by James Gunn, and at the time, James Gunn had just done Guardians of the Galaxy. But I had been a big fan of him since like Slither,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, I like him. And then he puts it on, and I'm like, this has Lemmy in it. This has Sean Gunn in it. Oh my God, they don't kill themselves. They're just brother and sister. And it has a happy ending, people. It has a happy ending. It's funny. It's heartfelt. There's a great decapitation scene with the, when it lands on the car of people, the family saying, "Find the peanut." By the way, that father is James Gunn.
Oh, okay.
And like Lloyd uses the same rail ramps stunt shot in every movie since Sergeant Kabuki Man. So yeah, like any of his movies made after I think 1991 will have that in it. It's a signature. It's his Easter egg.
It's kind of like how you regret that anybody ever taught J.J. Abrams how to do a lens flare.
Okay, yeah. Although it's a treat, even though like you get it every time. Oh God, what else? It's also, what if we made Romeo and Juliet hornier?
Nigh on pornographic.
Oh, it is spicy. I will say that the actors that played Tromeo and Juliet, like they had a lot of like really good romantic and sexual energy, but they refused to sleep with each other until it was finished.
Oh, good on them.
I know, right? And also, like, I will always be an unapologetic James Gunn fan because he's from my hometown. He's from St. Louis.
Oh, you and Alexis should
Wait,
go
what?
bowling.
Yeah, he's from St. Louis.
I did not know that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, around I'd say probably the mid 90s or whatever, Lloyd heard of this about this like performance artist out of St. Louis who his climax he would vomit on stage and he goes, "Oh, I got to work with that guy."
You're
So the original
amazing.
idea, yeah. So the original idea was that they were going to do a modern adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. They were going to use the dialogue and everything. But they got wind of Baz Luhrmann doing the same thing with a lot more money. Goes, "Ooh, can't do that." So he had James Gunn like rewrite the script with modern dialogue. But fun fact, it's an iambic pentameter. If you pay
All right.
attention, it's an iambic pentameter.
All right, let me cut in here. Let me give my 50 words or less, and then I'll go over to Sean, and we'll
Okay,
move
sorry.
on to Frankenhooker. No, you're good. I saw this when it came out on DVD back in the 90s. At the time, I guess this is my big movie snob phase. I was telling somebody this earlier. I was also amassing a giant DVD collection, but it was all like Something Weird or Soul Cinema or Troma or Roger Corman, like any B movie that had tits and violence in it, I was there and I bought it. And so I somehow or other I came upon Tromeo and Juliet for whatever the reasons were at the time. I'm sure this being the 90s and that being fairly new, it was probably being pushed. I had a lot more patience for it when I was younger and I was more into that thing. Upon rewatch, a lot of B movies tend to do the same thing. And it's funny, we did the Toxic Avenger, I think back in August, getting ready for the new one to
Yep.
come out.
That was my first episode.
That's right. And I think I said this at the time. There's a tendency to over-narrate. There's a tendency to rest entirely too heavy on dialogue and not enough on anything else, as if, the filmmakers are not tremendously they don't have a lot of faith in their audience. So I'm watching it last night and it's all the things that I remember. It's gross in places. Um Troma tends to like, is there any possible way we can highlight the worst in humanity?
Yeah.
Like, but like the mundane worst, farting and spitting and, being generally just above
Masturbation.
just above a baboon. Troma really does also love their gross liquids. And this film had plenty of it. I think as a kind of punk rock sneering send up of Shakespeare, it works just fine. I think as kind of satire of very serious film, it also works just fine. At the spry old back twitching age of 50, I'm kind of like, it was. I don't mind talking about it. I didn't mind rewatching it again, but I'm reminded that this is no longer my thing. While the first Toxic Avenger had some degree of charm to it, that's the thing this one lacks. This one I don't feel like had that kind of innocently punk rock charm. This I said of some of the later Toxic Avenger movies, they get kind of mean spirited, especially that fourth one.
Oh yeah.
This is more like that. It's not quite as bad as the fourth one. This one isn't entirely cynical, but it's definitely nihilistic in tone. There's nothing good about people. We're gonna highlight the awfulness of it, and and then we're gonna, and then show lots of sex and drugs. Fantastic. So, do I hate it? No. Do I love it? No. It's kind of a 5 on a 10-point scale for me. It is very Troma. Sean?
All right, I'm going to do my level damnedest to keep this down to TikTok length. I can only promise I will try.
You're going to put a stopwatch on it?
Please don't. Please
Okay.
don't put that for it. Because I still want to get this out and kind of word vomit this as best I can, but I'm just going to make it as clear as I can. I think it's very fitting that we're comparing this to the Baz Luhrmann movie, because for as rightfully acclaimed as that is, I feel like that hews closer to Shakespeare as we perceive him looking back today, as the essence of prestige authorship. Whereas at the time, what we so often forget was the Globe Theater was ye olde mosh pit. It was CBGB's before anyone knew what the fuck a New York was. They still weren't sure where the fuck Old York probably was. Then again, it's England. No, they probably definitely was. But
It was
anyway,
everyone.
Hang on,
It was
Kat.
both highborn and lowborn people.
well, but that's the thing though, is but it was where they mixed.
Yeah.
But that's what often gets so easily forgotten, is that going to see a Shakespeare play back then, as I was so shocked to learn in high school, was not for everybody necessarily this hoity-toity stars and garters events. For many, like I said, it was a night out. It was a night out at the dive bar. And I think that's what feels so appropriate about a version of it going to a studio like Troma, is that's a studio that embodies those roots that we don't talk about nearly enough. And Mark said it works fine as a punk rock send-up of Shakespeare. I respectfully and slightly disagree. I think it works really well because, yeah, we talk about mean-spirited. Yes, Tromeo and Juliet is mean-spirited. Punk can be necessarily mean-spirited sometimes, especially when you're talking about a story where, even though you're talking about two powerful families, it's two powerful families within something else that is practically a sister to punk rock, and that's the porn industry, because it was another haven for the disaffected, the cast out, and those who just couldn't seem to make it work doing anything else but this one niche, filthy, taboo passion. And so that makes sense. And you're also talking about the fact that you have two families who are trying to fix their kids and trying to mold them and end up fucking them up exponentially worse, to the point where by the end you're screaming, for fuck's sake, stop helping before you kill somebody.
Yeah, because in both the original play and in pretty much every incarnation I've ever seen, Capulet's a dick. Tybalt's a dick.
If that ain't punk as fuck, Jesus Christ, I think I'm missing the point of what punk is. No, it's not warm, sunny, good Charlotte, Blink 182, dare I even throw Green Day under the bus punk.
That's a dated reference.
But, well, look who you're talking to. But in my opinion, it probably hews a little closer to, like Minor Threat or Black Flag, or no, probably more like even Dead Kennedys or Dead Milkmen or Circle Jerks punk.
I mean, Lemmy is the narrator, guys. Like,
I'm gonna jump in here real quick.
Okay.
I think part of I'm gonna let you finish with your last word here, Kat. But I want to say this because I'm thinking about it as Sean was talking, like what my problem with the movie is, and Sean triggered it in my brain. I think I've grown tired of performative defiance, because there's a lot of that.
okay.
Very little of any protest movement, of any defiance movement, of any anti-movement stays authentic. And what's more, unless the audience you're defying, unless the institution you're rebelling against has any sense of shame, none of this really matters, and then it all becomes performative.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about one of the most non-performative acts of defiance in protest history, it's the guy standing in front of the Chinese tank.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Tiananmen Square?
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's my point. Like, part of why I picked up on the mean-spiritedness of Tromeo and Juliet is it's performatively defiance for the sake of being that, because what happens with a lot of things, punk rock being one of them, is that it starts off as a knee-jerk backlash against an institution that felt disingenuous and rotting from the inside. And then just as quickly as it was that, it just became a culture, one of many. I get myself in trouble for when I say stuff like this because somebody out there thinks I'm making fun of them or putting them down, and I'm really not. Live your life. I don't really care what people do. But like I talk about like septum rings, and septum rings being one of those tiny acts of defiance that then gets picked up and swept away into a broader cultural thing to the point of meaninglessness. And then, but but to some people, my daughter actually and I have had this debate. She was like, do you fault the people who do it as fashion and that's how they see it and that's the only reason why they did it? And I was like, no, at least that I understand. The ones doing it because they think it's an act of rebellion, I have an issue with, only because rebelling against who, how, and what audience do you think is paying attention to this in any meaningful way? So to relate this back to the film, I feel like with all good intentions, the good people at Troma made Tromeo and Juliet thinking about the veneer of what punk rock is and what defiance is without really thinking about who, what, where, why, and how this would be in any way effective as defiance.
But I think this is something that I'm learning about Troma as we've now gone through a few movies. I've said before, prior to this, my only significant experience with them was I fell in love with Cannibal the Musical in high school. I have a lot of happy memories about it. For the record, if you ever want to make Alexis Hana instantly bust a gut laughing, whatever she happens to doing, just lean in and go, "This is gonna suck."
Yeah.
But that was, and seeing Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter once in the halcyon days of Netflix streaming. But what I've learned since I started watching more and more of these, and something that I think a lot of film snobs may really get wrong about Lloyd Kaufman, especially after the Illuminating Stories Cats passed along, is that Lloyd does care. He does.
Yeah.
He does try. There's always very real effort. He's making the kind of movies that he can have fun making, that I get the feeling would be the kind of movies that he would want to see. But he wants to be really as true to that as possible. And that often means lo-fi, DIY, anything goes. But at the same time, I believe that he wants to kind of make that the spoonful of sugar that makes the heroin go down. He has a way of packing a little something in there. And I think that's why he and James made such a good partnership, because he's great at this too.
Oh, yeah.
Of taking bombastic, chaotic action, but threaded clearly through all of it. You have this line of a kind of very real heart, emotion, love, attachment, even tragedy at times, even going clear back to Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of the reasons why he handled Superman so well.
Yeah.
So I dare say he's somebody that, especially the current generation, I'll love to Blumhouse and A24 and everything, but here's one of the guys who really built that house.
He put the heart back into Peacemaker, and he gave Superman back his hope.
God, yeah.
Anything else,
will
Kat,
say-
before we head out of here?
Huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say I wanted you to have the last word so we can move on to Frankenhooker. Go ahead.
Okay. I will say that this is less of a Lloyd Kaufman production than it is a James Gunn production. This was his baby. This was like, he wrote this movie, he directed this movie. Troma obviously produced it, but you can see the seeds. Like, if you look at James Gunn's work on a timeline, you can see the evolution of dialogue. You can see the evolution of character. I mean, especially drawing a through line from Tromeo and Juliet to Slither. The dialogue, the cadence, the attitude, like this is where he cut his teeth. This movie crawled so that Slither could walk, so that Guardians could fly, so that Superman can turn the motherfucking Earth back.
So,
Mark, there's your TikTok.
a couple years ago, Jason and I for Black History Month did I believe it was a Pam Grier focus.
Oh.
And so I think we did Coffee. I can't remember the other one, but the last one we did was Black Mama, White Mama. And the thing that we noticed, and this is my transition to Frankenhooker. The thing that Jason and I agreed on, other than Pam Grier is hot, is there's a really good movie in Black Mama, White Mama. There's the bones of a very excellent movie, and if like a studio with money and resources and competence got a hold of it, and there was any appetite for doing this sort of thing, you could remake Black Mama, White Mama into a really killer movie. That's my opinion of Frankenhooker.
You know what? I do agree with you on that.
Let me tell you how Frankenhooker is a great premise. A girl gets run over by a lawnmower. She is shredded to pieces. We have a mad scientist who is it's a love story. It's a better love story than Tromeo and Juliet, in my opinion. This is
fucking tongue, man.
I will not. This is Mr. Freeze all over again. My heart is with this one woman who is taken from me far too early, and I'm going to preserve her, and I'm going to move heaven and earth and kill as many people as I can in order to bring her back, because I am single. I mean, it's when you think about like fantasy romance, what is it that women say? They were like, I want a guy who's willing to slay dragons for me. This motherfucker killed an entire street full of hookers to bring this one woman back. Is that, if I don't know, if that's not love, I don't know what love is. And I swear to God, if of all the, like, I would rather there be less Five Nights at Freddy 2s and more Frankenhookers.
Yeah.
This movie is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It is. It's
legit.
It suffers from the lead character being written with no inner monologue. I want to strangle the people who made this movie because they seem to be allergic to inner monologues. As if to say, nobody watching this movie has any time to watch an actor act if he doesn't vocalize all of his thoughts the entire length of the movie like it's a fucking opera. No one's going to get it. And it's like, oh, that hurts my soul. He's probably right, but it hurts my soul. So that's my one criticism of it is like the lead character never shuts up. And he's not saying anything profound. So it's just like, I don't know. Oh boy, that's it. That's the extent of his thoughts outside of I want to bring this woman back. But I'll tell you this, and then I'll turn it over to you, Kat, for your thoughts. The lady who plays his girlfriend, when she is resurrected as Frankenstein's monster, and she is walking around going, you want a date? You want Oh my God. I laughed my ass off. Like, I haven't had like an airless laugh in a really long time. Tears are streaming. You want a date? Like, between her accent, her fucking deadpan delivery, it was like Lucille Ball on glue. It was like
she's so good in this movie. Like, she elevates this movie for me.
Oh yeah, because like I said, his performance is whatever. I'm more taken in by the characterization than I am by the performance, or definitely the dialogue. And I was kind of rolling my eyes through this whole thing, and it's just like, well, as sort of B-rate, Skinamax kind of a thing. This is kind of a fun watch, but my patience was getting tried until she hit the street. Oh boy, she hits it. Want a date? And I was smitten. I'm going to transition to you, but I want to transition to you in a very, you are, I think, younger than Sean and I, or maybe closer to Sean's age than definitely mine.
I will be 40 on Monday.
You'll be 40 on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So you might even be a little older than the age group that would be really sensitive to the sort of thing. But the conclusion of this movie, and I really want to be specific about this because I think it's worth talking about. And I'm not trying to make an issue out of nothing. I am not, and I'm not trying to be controversial. It happened. It happened innocently, but we're watching it with 2025 eyes. So he murders, you have to understand, he murders a whole bunch of women. Kind of accidentally, They get into his explosive crack is what happens. But either way, he hadn't intended to kill them like you do. And he is willing to do felonious and harmful things in the single pursuit of love. And this woman, that's not what she wanted. She wanted, that's not what she wanted from him. And she, despite the fact that she has been brought back to life, she especially did not want to be remade with other people's parts. And I think that's like her biggest gripe with him. So when she's finally able to enact revenge, and this is the conclusion of the movie, the evil scientist, the just desserts that he gets, the comeuppance, is that his head is placed on a dead hooker's body with big boobs. And I looked at that and I'm like,
huge knockers.
And I'm like, what we're saying here is, what a terrible thing to happen to a full-blooded heterosexual man that his head might be put on some woman's body. And I was like, well, that's funny for what it was, and and in terms of what the character was going for and what the writers were going for through the character, I accept it. But there's got to be somebody looking at this going, oof, that hasn't aged well. Your thoughts, Kat?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you look at it through like a last podcast on the left, Law and Order Special Victims Unit lens, yeah, of course it's going to look bad. Like, because objectively it's bad. I mean, I always forget to count, but if they have the death penalty in New Jersey, he's going to get it. But you need to look at it for what it is.
Absolutely.
It's a Troma movie. It's a comedy. Like, it's in the title, Frankenhooker. And he didn't really have a choice.
They're clearly not making a jab at trans people, but it would be
No.
hard. It would
Not
be
at all.
hard now for sensitive
too much
people to
into
look
that
at that and see the joke and not take it personally. That was the point that I was making.
Well, I mean, if you paid attention to him talking about his theorem or formula or whatever, like, it can only be bonded to a female body. So Elizabeth wasn't trying to enact revenge on him.
No.
She was trying to revive him.
He was legitimately trying to save him.
Yeah, because she loved him just as much as he loved her.
She even said I couldn't even use Zorro's body.
Yeah.
Because that's a fair point.
Yeah. Because it's coded to
Mm-hmm.
Women.
The double X, yeah.
Yeah.
So it, like I said, I don't think it was revenge. I mean, she pretty much gets chewed up by that lawnmower pretty early in the film. I think it's probably 5 minutes in.
It's in the cold open.
And I think my favorite part is that she's talking about being kind of chubby, but if you look at her and she's in that romper bodysuit or whatever, you can tell they've just put like tissue paper and t-shirts where her ass should be. And I'm like, God damn, all you guys had to do was wait one more year and Baby Got Back was like the #1 song in America, yo. Right. So, like I said, you gotta look at it for what it is. It's a Troma movie about true love. But
So what did you think of the movie?
Okay. So I probably should preface this by telling you guys, like the first time I saw this. So I saw this on Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, right? Yeah. For the first time, and I'd never heard of it. And I'm like, Frankenhooker. And then like Darcy comes out dressed as Frankenhooker, which I always appreciate. 'Cause he's a great cosplayer. And I'm watching it in our bedroom. Nick is asleep. And it gets to the part with the super crack and all the horrors explode. Right? And I'm like, I can't believe I'm watching this by myself. This is fucking brilliant. I had to fight every urge in my body to like not wake him up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously it's a fun one. But I'd only seen it that one time, and then this past weekend we had people over, and I voted Frankenhooker because, so as to refresh myself for this podcast. And our friend Haley was over here, and the reason why she became our friend is because she was at a convention in St. Louis, like a real teeny tiny one, for horror and sci-fi, and she was dressed as Frankenhooker, and Nick was dressed as Toxic Avenger. So that's how they began talking. And now, a year and a half later, she's working on our movie, and she's the puzzle piece we never knew that we were missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Haley Picard. I love you. I hope you're watching this, or I hope you will watch this. But yeah, we love you. So we're watching this movie, and it's amazing watching somebody's favorite movie with them, because they're punching you and go, look, exploding horrors. Her favorite part is when the body parts, or this actually might be mine too, is when the body parts like all like mold together and they look like centaurs from Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Which
The Cronenberg sequence.
yes. I love body horror, so like this scratches my itch. And I gotta tell you, I loved when the women transitioned between like human and mannequin, because you could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very Terminator in the bathroom.
Yeah, I love it so much. Oh, and by the way, fun fact. You guys watch porn, right?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Heather Hunter is one of the prostitutes.
Nice.
No way.
Pretty sure troops. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, let me move over to Sean. Sean, what'd you think of Frankenhooker?
With a damn Frito in my mouth.
I like being consistent.
Good fun from start to finish. To be honest, I think it would have been almost improved if Jeffrey would have been more of almost a young Herbert West type than what we ended up getting.
From Jersey.
What was that?
I said he is from Jersey.
The exploding hooker sequence, I'm never getting that out of my head.
Mm.
And I am going to smile every single fucking time because I just have this feeling that this came out and a young Vince Gilligan saw it, and years later he needed an idea for Breaking Bad, and he went, hear me out. I saw this movie once.
Wait, are you?
Oh, good. What'd you say?
See, now I gotta watch. Now I have to watch Breaking Bad from start to finish again. Damn it!
You'll know what. Now, knowing that you're a fan of this movie, and now that I've made that joke, trust me, you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. It's pretty hard to forget from the first season. Anyway.
So, are you okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, gotcha.
Anyway, but and I almost think, and maybe I'm being too ambitious, it almost would have been fun to have had a Frankenhooker story, but it hews closer to like Mary Shelley's original story. and we've got some actual subtext to it. And it ends with Frankenhooker trying to track the doctor down. But no, I mean, good for what it was. Good fun. Right length. I wouldn't say it's going to probably stick with me as much as the other ones do. But then again, that's kind of hard to after experiencing those two in all their glory. But I mean, still worth the 84 minutes. That's about all I've really got.
Not everybody's going to get it, but the right people will.
Yeah, I think with any of these Christmas Chaos, your film, Tromeo and Juliet, Frankenhooker, I've said it before. I'll say it again, and I'll just say it really quickly. And we come on this podcast to talk about movies, so that we have to find things to talk about. Contrary to popular opinion, a review is not "it's good" or "I liked it." That's not how that works. So, everyone's like, why are you putting, we took the time to talk about these movies. I'm going to talk about them in as much detail as I can muster. But, are they meant to survive this level of scrutiny? Not really, no. These were meant to satisfy some base urges, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah.
We have overthought the fuck out of this.
That is the motto of this podcast.
They are movies made by the id,
Basically.
basically.
Perfect.
Perfect. That is the end of our show. This past Sunday, speaking of overthinking things, Jesse and I did a Grant Morrison focus on source material.
Nice.
The video, the unedited video is on this channel. Jesse will cut this up into several shows that'll air on his channel later in the year or early next year, probably. Monday night, I did a hate fucking of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's awful. Spare yourself.
That's what Nick said.
It was awful. Worst movie
Him and our son thought.
I swear to God, people are arguing with me. It's not worse than Snow White. It is. It is far worse than Snow White. I will truck with no other opinions. This Sunday, Metal Hammer of Doom is back. We're doing a movie. We're doing the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghost of Christmas Eve. That's our Christmas show for this year, so that'll be fun. Since we changed formats and we no longer play music. A week, this Monday. Speaking of Frankenhooker, we're going to be doing Guillermo del Toro. Thank you, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. That's presently on Netflix. That'll be myself, Robert, and Alexis. And then a week from tonight is Scrooge. That'll be the three of us again, and that'll be an on trial. And we're doing that because
Niagara Falls, Frankie Angel.
Fuck it, it's Christmas time. And it's one last plug before I give it over to you guys. Another Christmas show we'll be doing will be myself and Jesse. Every year we do this, and every year we have a grand old time. 3 streaming movies, all Christmas. All new Christmas ones. Oh, What Fun, Jingle Bell Heist, and A Merry Little Christmas Eve. That'll be Sunday, December 21st. So, I picked 3 streaming Christmas movies to talk about because, December is the Christmas season here on the Rattle Legend Broadcasting Network. Once again, if you would like to see Christmas Chaos, where can they find that, Kat?
Well, they can find it on Troma now. First month free, $4.99 per month after that. You will get to see Christmas Chaos. You will get to see Frankenhooker. You will get to see Tromeo and Juliet. You will get to see Cannibal the Musical, which is Sean's favorite. There's a lot of great content on it. I can't recommend it enough, basically. It's also probably the cheapest movie app that you will ever have, or at least nowadays, right?
Yes.
Only other one I could think of to be maybe, I don't know, Plex.
Yeah.
But for Plex, you have to know a guy.
True.
Speaking of knowing guys, Sean, why don't you do your plugs?
All right. You can find me most of the time on twitch.tv/Gomer Codex. I'm going to be on a little bit later tonight just doing some tech testing for a few things that I've got kind of slowly cooking right now. on Instagram and Threads at the same handle. And I might have something that's in the works right now. I'm going to wait until it's fully scheduled. All I'm going to say, hell might have frozen over.
Oh, okay. I won't spoil the surprise for you. Folks,
Thank
this
you.
has been a gas. Thank you, Kat. Thank you for bringing on. I think it was one of them was your partner, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, partner
that was Nick. Yeah.
and then the other guy there from the movie. It was a lot of fun. It's I don't, like I said earlier, I don't get to interview people very much on here in terms of like people in their projects. So it's nice to do it every once in a while.
This
So
was
thank you for
a
that
blast.
opportunity. Yeah, this
Mhm.
and considering we didn't really plan this, I just kind of did it on the fly. It was an interesting
Yeah.
experience. So
No problem. Also, honestly, I look forward to this every time we do it. This has been really good for me, both creatively and just for my mental health. I love talking about this stuff. I love spending it with, like I love spending an hour plus with you guys. You guys have, this is such a gift, especially tonight, especially to talk about a movie that I was directly involved in. To be able to plug something that a lot of people put skin in the game for. You guys have given me the best early birthday present I could ever ask for, because I turned 40 on Monday, guys.
well, it was our pleasure. For Kat,
Absolutely.
who apparently is a birthday girl very soon. For Sean, and for me, Twitchy McBackache, be well, be safe, and behave.
Bye, everybody.